Welcome to Recovery Report Live. I'm Dan Odess, president of GlobalPro, where we manage risk to recovery, and we've managed more than $1 billion in recovery. We've represented thousands of community associations and business owners in the recovery from loss, whether it's caused by a hurricane, a water loss, fire, whatever it may be. We want to help you navigate the process in the recovery of your losses and damages. Now, right now, if you're in the New York, New Jersey metro area, you're probably dealing with an abundance of fire-related smoke. Now, I say it that way because there is policy issues when making claims for fire-related smoke and soot. And I think a lot of people are going to be concerned with the idea of pollution. Because if you look at a lot of the national reportings on this, they talk about pollution. They don't talk mostly about fire-related smoke or soot. And those are key important policy issues when doing an analysis as to whether or not you have coverage for your loss related to these wildfires. Is your business or community association shut down and unusable because of the fire-related smoke and soot? And I say this because the fire isn't exactly burning inside your place of business. And there are certain policy provisions that may exclude, limit, or cover these types of losses. Did the government order you to shut down? Are there government ordinances in place that are restricting travel of your clientele or your unit owners? All of these things, again, need to be considered when dealing with your losses and damage related to these recent wildfire events. And I think for our clients that are in the New York, New Jersey, tri-state area that are being dramatically impacted by what is going on with these fires, keep these things in mind when doing your analysis and thinking about whether or not you need to make a claim or if a claim is appropriate. Contacting your insurance company, your insurance agent is not the road to recovery. It is going to be a tough one at that if you do it, and also may lead to erroneous claims on your loss runs because you may not have coverage for something related to these wildfires. There is, because of the California issues that we have seen with wildfires, there are new policy forms that do exclude and limit any sort of damage related to wildfires because it doesn't necessarily need to burn in or around your property in order for you to obtain coverages. However, there are policy forms that may exclude coverage for specific things related to wildfires themselves. So again, just because a fire burns next door and your property is damaged by soot or smoke doesn't necessarily mean you're not covered for those fire-related damages. I sometimes give an analogy when talking about mold in water where I talk to my policyholders and I tell them all the time. I say, look, you had a water loss. The mold is a consequence of the water, somewhat like smoke and soot is to fire. And that really makes a difference here in dealing with this situation that you have right now in the tri-state area, where the fire itself is not burning on site or inside your property, but the smoke and soot from those fires is, in fact, damaging your property and also making it so that you cannot operate business as usual, and you may have an income-related loss associated with these wildfires. The related smoke and soot has impacted the area, led to certain government ordinances, shutdowns. They're talking about air traffic slowing down, depending on your business and how it relates to the daily activities that may be restricted or not occurring because of the issues related to the smoke and soot. Could possibly lead to coverage and may possibly be a claim that you want to make. But again, it takes a lot more analysis and information in order to make these decisions. So our insurance coverage expert team is obviously on standby at all times for anyone that may have questions about policies and issues, particularly what's going on. So keep these things in mind. And if you're monitoring the situation, you'll note that the smoke and soot is definitely moving further south in the United States, and they're reporting air quality issues related to these wildfires in as far south as Palm Beach in Florida. Now, this morning I had to have a chance to check on the latest advisories with regards to that, but I can tell you that there is possibility of coverage for businesses that may be impacted by the smoke and soot associated with these wildfires, so just keep those things in mind. The other thing that we're tracking and keeping an eye on are these low-pressure systems that continue to develop. This last one, Arlene, which is our first storm of the season, quickly, as fast as it turned into a storm, it dissipated gratefully. It did bring a whole lot of rain and water into the areas, particularly South Florida and West Coast Florida region areas, and we continue to deal with massive amounts of flooding. It's definitely something you want to keep an eye on here. If you're experiencing losses related to flooding from any of the recent storms or water or major severe weather systems, that's what I'm trying to say, it's important to note that you do have a very short amount of time to make those claims and file the appropriate or requisite documents in order to make said claims. So notice is really important when dealing with NFIPs, so as the follow-up documentation, sworn statement of proof of loss that needs to get filed within 60 days of the date of loss. That's the date of the loss, the date that they occurred. So when you're reporting the claim and you give that date, you better go calendar the 60 days for them, because if you don't have to submit that sworn statement of proof of loss and your claim is not paid to your satisfaction, well, if you haven't filed that sworn statement of proof of loss, the door has closed on you and you're pretty much stuck with what you got. Now, there is an appeals process, an appraisal. Appeals process will close the door on appraisal. Appraisal's a way to deal with the dispute. Appeals process, it requires that you submit substantive documentation information to the NFIP for their consideration to deal with any sort of dispute issues. How do you avoid all that? Have an insurance coverage expert like GlobalPro on your side, making those claims, making sure you're aware of those deadlines. Keep tracking those things. It's really, really important. Again, there's so many of these things happening every day, these severe weather events that are rolling through the Florida region. It's really, really important that you are monitoring when the loss occurred on your property and using an accurate date for it. We just saw where there was a major flooding event that occurred on the 12th, and then another rainstorm came through on the 14th of last month. Well, the reality of it is that the state of emergency didn't occur until the storm activity that occurred on the 14th. So the actual state of emergency only applied to those events that occurred on the 14th, not the 12th. Again, I'm saying a lot, quickly going through breaking down the scenario, but you have no idea how important the differentiation between the 12th and the 14th are because of the state of emergency. There was the one declared locally, and then there was one declared at the state level and federally. And the reason for the state of emergency is just a release of funds and resources to go into an impacted area to help our local communities recover. That's the whole premise of it, but there are far-reaching implications as it relates to those things that many of you are probably not aware of, and most of that has to do with the way in which and how you can make claims and what those state of emergencies mean to those claims, and particularly when you're transacting with a public adjuster or making those claims as it relates to a proof of loss requirement. They may extend it for the events related to that state of emergency, but not for those that may have preceded it or succeeded. So again, track these things, understand the implications of this stuff. If you have any questions about it, our team is ready on standby to answer those. As I mentioned, the low pressure systems that continue to develop. What are you doing? Are you taking action? Right now, we have a huge initiative here at GlobalPro about take action. We want to make sure that you're taking action to make sure that your business and community association are ready in the event that something were to occur. If you need assistance with your planning and preparation, let us know. Check us out online at globalpro.com. And of course, make sure you're liking and following us on all our social media, because we are going to be continuously providing information about what you need to do to take action. Take action this storm season and make sure that your business and your community association are in the best possible situation to deal with this hurricane season. Now, they predicted that this storm season would be lower than usual activity, however, or higher than usual. Again, the pundits, they spin this stuff however they see necessary. I just saw a news clipping about how storms are going to form in less than 5 days and going to continue to do that. And there's a trend towards that because of the warming of the water, et cetera, meaning that when we get that cone is going to be predicting that within 2 days, rather than 5 days, you're going to have an impact in your area. That is the trend that most meteorologists are tracking right now, is that the quick formation of these storms is going to give us less time to react to a severe weather event like a hurricane. So take action. Make sure that you have what you need. We have a lot of resources on our website as well as on our social media that we're constantly putting out about what you can do to take action to make sure that your business and community association are best prepared. And we talk about important issues on this very show, Recovery Report Live. I'm here every Thursday with my colleagues talking about how you can navigate these processes to better benefit your community association or businesses when making claims or recovering from loss or even acquiring new insurance. Right now, we're in a tough market. There's a lot of lies and a lot of bad information coming from brokers and insurance companies at large about the implications of making claims, about hiring professionals to represent your interest. I haven't found any sort of factual information to support much of the representations being made by some of the biggest brokerage firms in the country. They're going out there campaigning hard against public adjusting, hiring lawyers, making claims of any sort, telling and advising their clients, hey, contact us. Let us know about your situation. We'll help you make an assessment as to whether or not you want to make a claim. But when your car broke down last or you needed to get the oil changed, did you go back to the car salesman in order to fix your car? No. If you were filing your taxes for your business, did you file the taxes first to say, hey, IRS, what are you going to make me pay this year? No, you hired an accountant, a licensed professional that is competent in navigating that process. Well, that's what a public adjuster or an attorney will do, or an insurance loss consultant like those at GlobalPro. We are here as insurance coverage experts to help you navigate, to take action that's in the best interest of your community association or business. Now, the idea that your broker is going to help you adjust and navigate the claims process is an anomaly to me because they're only licensed to sell you insurance. Now, I understand that some of them have claims professionals on staff. Start asking questions about those claims professionals. Are they licensed to represent your interest? Are they going to come out to the property to actually assess your damages? Are they going to appropriately notice your insurer of your loss and damages? Did you know that most commercial policy forms included in policies that are sold to community associations and businesses require that the policyholder, that's you, the consumer, report the claim directly to the insurer or a third-party administrator that has been hired by the insurance company or companies, all right, that are responsible to pay you in the event that you have a covered loss, not your broker. In fact, I've never seen an insurance policy sold to a community association or business that requires or even insinuates or tells you to make a claim to your broker. I haven't seen one. And I would challenge my broker friends out there in the insurance industry at large to provide me forms that actually are sold to community associations and business owners that require the first notice of claim to be made to the broker. In fact, if you make it to the broker and the broker then takes that information and then flips it to the insurance company and some of that information was not accurately reported or reported in a way to assist you in your claims process and may have erroneous information that's going to prejudice you and preclude you from coverage and not assist you in making the claims and getting paid for your actual covered damages and could lead to delays and denials of your claims. So take action, make sure that you're properly represented in your claims and that you are following and complying with your obligations under the policy. And I earlier in this conversation, I talked about the wildfires and fire and soot. I can tell you that I have read, and I went on some of the major media outlets for the insurance industry. I saw articles being written about the wildfires and the fire and soot, and they're talking a lot about pollution. That's why I came on this show today. Top of mind. This is a big headline. This is big information for those that are being impacted by this situation. Now, if your business was shut down because of some ordinance or issue, there's going to be, sadly, there's going to be, most insurance companies may take the position that you have no physical loss or damage at your location. The fire didn't occur there. I can argue that that doesn't necessarily preclude you from coverage because in times when you have heavy smoke, like in the situation we have, soot is mixed in there or follows or precedes it. So again, these things are burning, and then your windows and your places of business and your tables and chairs and your mechanical systems are getting clogged with this soot and smoke. this could lead to damage and service issues related to your property. So this could be a covered loss and damage. Again, it's soot and smoke from a fire. This happens to be a wildfire of sorts. This is, again, something complex, perhaps not best suited to be handled by your broker. And again, I've never seen a policy sold to a commercial property owner or a community association that required the first notice of loss be made to the broker. Why? Because your broker most often, it's sad to say, I've seen very few brokers actually have the policy of my clients at their fingertips. Most often they're selling you something based on a spreadsheet, not the actual product that you're actually buying. In fact, insurance is one of those things that most often is the only thing that you will ever buy and pay the enormous amount of money we do, and it continuously increases for reasons I do not understand, because if you look at these publicly traded companies, they continue to pack in the profits and pay dividends to their shareholders and then yell and scream in the Florida legislature in Texas and the coastal areas about how they're not making money and they're going bankrupt, right? But I have yet to see a policy form that requires notice to the broker. And I've yet to see where a broker can truly and accurately make claims on behalf of a policyholder in the event of a loss and damage, because they don't come out and assess it. They are not experts and they are not licensed to adjust claims. They are licensed to sell you a product. Why do I know that? Well, I'm licensed as a 220 as well as a 320, meaning a 220 is an insurance agent. A 320 license in Florida is a public adjuster license. I'm also licensed as a general contractor. I've been through engineering school. I started a master's in it. I have various experiences working in the field, building buildings, ground up, new construction, renovations, reconstruction from loss and damage. Our entire team is full of licensed professionals that can assist you and navigate the process. I challenge most brokers to have these types of people on site. I don't see it in the marketplace. And because, again, they're there to sell you something, and most often they're selling it to you based on spreadsheet analysis and breakdown and information they're getting from their insurance company partners, okay, who they have a contract with to sell you their products. But like the car breaking down or filing taxes or even going to court, you're going to hire a licensed professional that knows how to navigate the process, that's going to represent your best interest and provide you the meaningful impact, the meaningful feedback that you need in order to protect your interest. And that is not your broker. That's not their role. They're not there to adjust claims. In fact, pursuant to the contracts and the policies and the products they sell you, they're not even the people that you should be even reporting the claims to. So again, check your policy forms, take action, understand this stuff. We're in hurricane season 2023, and it's already started out to be an active one. So if you haven't already, like us and follow us on all our social media. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. We're going to continue to provide you information that can help you take action this storm season and best prepare your business and community association. So join me next week, same time, same place, right here on the Recovery Report Live.